Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel outside the target demographic. Today I'm going to be covering my Icon Ratchet set. Let's get started. This is the Icon 35-bit Ratchet set from Harbor Freight. What I did was the tool itself comes in a cardboard box. It was in a plastic container, so I just leave it in there and I put a Velcro strap on it. So now I can carry it around, pull it out of the bag a little bit easier, and I have a Velcro strap. But this is a little big as far as the footprint goes. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, just shy of 5 inches by, call it 2 1/4 with the hinge, and the thickness of about 1.5 inches. So it's not small, but it is convenient. So we have a couple things going on here. We have a bunch of bits. We have Phillips, we have Allens, we have security hexes, we have, security Torx, standard Torx, flatheads, and a socket adapter for 1/4 inch drive sockets. Additionally, on the side of each one of them, they will tell you that it is a Torx T15. So the way I orientate mine, because if you haven't figured out by now, I have just the least slightest amount of undiagnosed OCD. I try and put all the bit sizes at the same angle. Not that it matters. Mostly it's, well, that one's too small, that one's too big, it has to be this one kind of thing. But let's get into why I like this guy. So for starters, on sale, it's $35. I think it's typically about $45, $47, something like that. So even then, for $50, I find this incredibly useful, incredibly handy. What I did is added a little bit of heat shrink to it, which gives me a little bit better grip on it. But what I really like about it is everything is conveniently laid out. There's no rattle or shaking or anything to it. Everything's very easy to visually identify and get to. And then you get to the ratchet itself. So you have a ratchet, right? One-way directional. So this one is Titan. Admittedly, the lever's a little small, but I guess that's good in that it won't accidentally activate itself in a different direction. Now you have loosen. But this one goes a little bit further, and it gives you, by pushing in this plunger, you can adjust the angle of the handle. So now I can get into a recessed engine bay compartment or something, and I sacrifice torque, but I gain reach. Or if I'm trying to tighten something that's relatively flush, I can't really get my fingers wrapped around it, right? So if I angle it up a bit, I'm going to be able to get a much better grip on it. So pretty convenient. The least littlest amount of wobble on that, but it's actually pretty well built, says I. Additionally, you'll note it, well, I'll save that for later. It has a cutout for the 1/4 inch bits here, and again you have your ratchet drive, but you also now, instead of using it with a wide swing or trying to do the weird angle with this whole ratchet thing, you can put them into the far end. So now it's a screwdriver, essentially. You sacrifice torque, you gain speed, but if you angle this like that, you now have a leverage bar to gain back a little bit of torque before you have to switch it back to the ratchet, which I think is pretty handy. Now, not only does it have that, but, let's go back. So one of the benefits is, let's say you're working on a computer with a standard size like this and then a standard Phillips. Well, I can have both bits in the tool at the same time and be able to swap the ends of the tool that I'm working on and be able to get access to what I'm getting to without having to pick up and put down and reorientate and all that stuff. So I think that's pretty handy. Now, you may have noticed microphone. So that is a magnetic, and depending on the lighting, yeah, you can see it in there. If you were to focus, you can see there's a magnet in there. So it's a magnetic retention on this end, and then this one with the cuts in the provided bits will snap into place and hold. Now, I don't think I've tried, but let's try it now. I cannot, even with my full upper body weight, I cannot push this through accidentally. So it is a hard stop, and it will not go any further. So that's kind of cool. I haven't tried that before. I had indicated before, you can see there's a white dot. Where that comes into play is with this extension. So with the extension, you have white dots on the ratchet, and they don't give you white here, which is kind of odd. But you can see there's some cuts along just that one part of the extension, right? So if you were to line up those dots with the cuts in that extension, it now gives you a T-handle. Additionally, I can not line up that dot with those cuts. Now this extension cannot punch through like we just had, right? It was a T-handle. Now it's a stuck extension. And now I have a ratchet with an extension. And again, you can do the whole pivoting, getting a better angle, whatever you need. In addition to that, if you put it here, you have a, get rid of that bit, almost 8-inch long screwdriver. So you can get into recessed areas, get two hands on it to spin it out a little bit faster. Again, angle that, and now you can, this slips around a little bit, so you can just use your one hand to hold the tool in place and use this one to speed screw or loosen something. And then, as I learned the first time I used this, you can put the bit you're using in the ratchet, and now you have a 8-inch leverage bar to work in or free up whatever device you're trying to get loose. So the reason I know that is the first time I had used this tool, and literally about 3 days after I had purchased it, a coworker had invited me over to his house and had asked if I knew how to hang a ceiling fan, which I assumed meant, do you know how to wire one? Which, yes, I do. Turned out it's, can you install one? Which, yes, I can. But we needed to set some screws to install the mounting bracket, and the drill that he had was 3.7 volts on a good day and 0 volts on that day. So he hadn't charged it. He didn't know where the power supply was to charge it. It probably wasn't going to work at 3.7 volts anyways. So with this, with the extension in, I was able to get more than enough leverage. I was actually greatly amused and impressed with how little effort it took to seat some very long wood screws into a rather thick, this house was built when quality was a thing. So the wood in the rafters was actual wood. And I was able to install his ceiling fan with just the tools I happen to have in my Mary Poppins bag, registered trademark. So he rewarded me with $50, which was very generous of him to do, and actually paid for this kit. You may remember I said I picked this up for $35 on sale with the coupon that they sometimes have in their flyers and whatnot, 20% off. So typically, I think it's $45, $47, something like that. With tax, it put me at $50. So the first time I used this, it literally paid for itself. So the regular tool, this is an extension I just had laying around in the garage. So this is a 1/4 inch to 3/8 inch drive adapter. Between this and this and this and this, I can probably break something. But this does give me the option, if there were ratchets around somewhere. I do carry a go bag, Mary Poppins bag in the car as well with tools and whatnot. I would be able to use this as a 3/8 inch drive, as well as a 1/4 inch drive, as well as a bit driver with all the bits I could ever need and some that I will never use. So I'm going to take that out of the kit. It's not going to be small. Well, I already told you it wasn't small, but it's not going to be light. 362 grams. Little bit, 3/4 of a pound. So it's not the lightest thing. Honestly, I wouldn't think the plastic would weigh too much, but for the versatility of what you can do with this guy, close quarters, depth, getting into cabinetry or inside an engine bay trying to tighten something or loosen something, having this relatively pocket-sized toolkit so far has been incredibly helpful for me. If you look up on the Harbor Freight website and YouTube, you'll find a plethora of reviews just glowing with customer satisfaction. There is a lifetime warranty on bits corroding and breaking and all that stuff. So you have a lifetime warranty with it. Incredibly versatile. You have standard and metric bits. You have security bits. You have hexes. You have torques. You have flatheads. All the things you would ever need. So this is something that I have used probably 20 times in the last year that I've had it. And while it may not be the cheapest set out there, it is incredibly convenient and relatively, I would say, very tightly compact for what it is. So that is my review of the Harbor Freight Icon 35-bit Ratchet set. Small, compact, not lightweight, but easy enough to fit into a EDC bag, and you'll have everything you need when you need it. So as always, this is outside the target demographic. Any questions, comments, concerns you have, leave them in the comments section below, and I will catch you guys in the next video.